Hey class, hope all is well, because that's my typical intro, but it's true. I hope all is well. So we are in chapter 10 now, creating a winning resume and portfolio. Um, these next couple chapters in the book are pretty short, but we still have quite a bit to do in this class. But let's go ahead and get started. I don't know why my mouse never wants to work in the beginning. Okay, so learn outcomes using your resume as a tool or a marketing tool. Again, we talked about marketing in the past. If you don't market something, you're not going to spend your money on purchasing it, right? So it's just like that. If you don't market yourself, no one's going to purchase you essentially, which means hire you. Recognizing the value of professional portfolio, preparing a winning resume, and we're going to do that as a class. Differentiating, geez, can't say that, between different types of resumes. There's quite a bit of different ones, but we're going to go over the most common, like a PDF file as a, or a Word document as a class, and then writing a cover letter. So your resume is a marketing tool again. So you want to sell your brand, which is you. Again, I can't stress this enough. If you don't know about a brand, are you going to spend your hard earned money, which can be 20, 50, 100, 1,000 plus dollars? If you've never heard of it, probably not. But if it's a brand that you've used in the past, if it's a brand that you believe in, if it's a brand that you like, or you know someone who likes it, you're more willing to purchase that brand, right? So I might go and buy a Honda or a Toyota or a BMW, maybe a BMW. It's German, so it's expensive to work on. But I'm more likely to purchase, a big purchase like that, like a vehicle, if I heard of the band or the brand before, right? If I trust that brand, opposed to an auto manufacturer from a different country or who was just made, right? Um, I'm not going to spend 20,000 plus dollars on that. Um, Another thing is it must be concise and interesting enough to attract your potential employer. So just like anything, we see a lot on YouTube, like clickbait and stuff like that. It's something dramatic, or it doesn't have to be dramatic, but something that's going to catch the eye. A lot of times with YouTube videos with clickbait, you probably know it's clickbait by the time you click on it, but it's something that catches your eye that you're like, oh, I just need, even if it's clickbait, I need to watch this video. So you want to make your resume attractive. You want to make it different, something that they're gonna look twice at or three times at. You want to also make sure there's keywords, and we're gonna go over those keywords during this, and then also when we go over the YouTube video. But these keywords are very important because a lot of times when you apply for a major corporation, they're not going to go over every single resume, especially when they have hundreds, if not thousands, of people applying for that job, right? What happens is you submit your resume, and then it goes through a computer algorithm, and then it catches these keywords what they're looking for. So maybe it's the no Microsoft Office or PowerPoint. Okay, if it sees on your resume, it's going to grab it and it's going to take that resume to the side and discard the rest of the resumes. Then it might go from 1,000 resumes to maybe 500 or 100 or something like that. And then eventually someone's actually going to look at them and read them. But if you submit a resume, it has nothing to do with that job and nothing to do with those keywords they're looking for, chances are no physical person is actually going to view it. Again, algorithms are super important. I guess you think of it like a Google search. If I Google search something, it's going to come up, right? But it's, say Google search, like I'll stick with the car theme, like Toyota, and I hope that turtles don't come up, right? I didn't Google search turtles. So just like that, you're looking for something specific. So are these corporations. So one thing you definitely want to do is you want to look at the job description. We talked about that last chapter. First, you want to see if you're qualified for the position because you don't want to waste your time applying for it, right? Um, so you want to look at the qualifications, and you're really also scanning for a couple things. You're scanning for these keywords. You're scanning to see if you qualify, and a lot of times you're scanning for the salary. Again, you don't want to spend an hour doing a job. Resume and then also application when you're hoping to make $50,000 and they start at $25,000. That would be a waste of your time. So there's a couple things. So this is one job that I was thinking about applying at way back when, was the Huntington Beach Union job. This particular high school, they had surfing for PE, and I like to surf, so I said, hey, why not? Anyway, so I looked up the job description, make sure I qualified for it. Another thing you're going to find in a lot of these job description is the duties that you perform. So you really want to go through these again and see if this is a job that you would like. There might be similar jobs, similar corporations or companies, but maybe they do two different things. So maybe there's an accountant at a major law firm or a firm, and you say, hey, I have an accounting major, I want to be accountant, and then there's this job, and then there's this job. And maybe these two different positions at different companies do two different things. So you really want to check those out between companies. So this is just kind of a little cheat sheet that you say, okay, this sounds good. This is roughly what a day looks like. And this maybe looks familiar because if you turned in your interview, they might have said some of these things when you're looking for that particular job or major. Again, the more information you have, the better. In this class, we also talked about how many different decisions we make a day, right? It's about 35,000 decisions. But the more information we gather, the better our decision making is going to be. So again, you're going to decide if you like this company, this corporation, this district, if it jives with you as far as your own personal ethics. Also, it's going to see if you even want to do those things. Again, you want to be scanning these things for keywords as well to put in your resume. So resume challenges. Is your resume polished and professional as possible? Do you have a good resume? It really comes down to that. Do you have something you just kind of threw together, or do you actually take your time and format it correctly and put all the things that you've done in the past? Really only you could organize that, but you don't want to throw together a bad resume and turn it in because you actually might not get hired or even an interview. So employers receive hundreds of resumes and cover letters for open positions. So I think I talked about my position that I got hired at, and there was like almost 200 people that applied for that position. Even the position I'm doing now as far as teaching, I had to go against 7 other people in the group interview, which is really interesting. Never had that before. Recruiters look for any reason to eliminate a resume. So again, what they're trying to do is if there's one person they could hire and there's 100 people, they're going to look at your spelling. They're going to look at these keywords. They're going to look if your resume is polished and professional. They're going to look at your email address to see if that's professional. We talked about that before. Any little thing, they're really there just to chuck it. So it's very important you turn in your best work. Luckily for us there's a really good video that you're going to watch a little later on and make a really good resume. And this resume, I said this before in this class, but a lot of people have gotten hired using this particular format. So there, as mentioned before, there's different types of resumes. There's a scannable paper one. So you might have a physical copy that you printed out, and you might scan it or turn it into a PDF to where you can't format it or edit it, but it's really good to submit. Sometimes you could even put it into a search. So if they're looking for keywords, then if they type it in the algorithm, it can actually find these particular words on this type of resume, which is really cool and helpful. There's online. So there's on these ones, it's kind of plain. This is information. So it's just something you'd submit saying, hey, this is my high school experience or my college experience or my work experience. And it's very like bland, but it's really good for resumes for employment software. So sometimes they will go ahead and say, hey, just copy paste your resume into this box. And it makes it really, really easy for the algorithm to find what they're looking for. So if you ever do one of those resumes, you need to tell yourself, okay, there's a lot of people applying for this particular job. because again, they're trying to go through the resumes at a rapid pace. Sometimes it only takes a couple seconds to go through a whole resume. There's also going to be online or web-based. So it's almost like a website. So a lot of times if you're a graphic designer, something in graphics or even marketing and something like that, they'll make you make a resume. So I know a couple people who do film and they have their own website and then they post their videos of the films that they've done. So that way employer could go to the website, check the formatting, and then click on each video and watch their video and see their work. So it really depends on what kind of job you have. Obviously, if you're going to be a doctor or something like that, you're probably not going to have this type of resume. But again, for marketing, for graphic design, for something in radio or film, most likely you will. So portfolios and digital resumes. So a portfolio is a summary of your work that you've done. Again, you're trying to showcase yourself. So again, if you're going against a lot of different people, how are you different? What is your quality of work? It's going to go a long way. There's a digital portfolio. Again, that can be easily stored. Sometimes, on a flash drive or a small file or, something like that. Email even. And then there's, with that digital portfolio, a lot of times you could have high resolution photos or videos or something like that. So again, maybe you're a photographer, you're a videographer, you're someone in radios, you're someone in film. This is really what you're looking for. So there's different websites like we talked about last week in that chapter. So this is LinkedIn. So this is occupational therapist. It talks about, where they work or where they worked before. And it really helps you look at for employers or headhunters that we talked about before to find people at a rapid pace. So again, it's kind of like a resume format where it shows like where they've worked before. But again, this is LinkedIn. So action words for a resume, again, accomplish, achieve, analyze, arrange, build, facilitate, improve, inspire, led, plan, organization, sold if you're in sales, negotiate. These are powerful words. And again, you're not going to use all of them, obviously, because that would be a resume in itself. But you're going to take a couple of these depending on your particular job. So if I'm going to be a manager or applying for a manager position, I'm probably going to talk about raised profits, reduced costs, how many units I sold. I don't know, how I organize things, how I negotiated better pricing, stuff like that. So these are just a couple. And again, in that resume video, there's a lot more. So job application examples, this is straight from the book on 10.8. So we'll go ahead and skip this, but pause it if you want to see it. And then also a cover letter. So depending on the job, you want to write a good cover letter. Personally, when I was applying for jobs, I wrote a cover letter per job, and I would just say, the reason why I'm applying for this job because of X, Y, and Z. I can envision myself working here because maybe my personal ethics go with the company, my business ethics go with the company, or whatever else. But again, this is something for them to read to kind of get a better understanding or an idea of who you are as a person, on top of the work you've completed, which would be a resume. This is a college student resume. These are okay, but to be honest, I really like the resume video. So we'll go ahead and pause this. This is a simple one. But again, we're trying to be a little different. And then just a resume template. The video you're going to watch is quite long, so I'm going to keep this video shorter. But if you would like to see this, go ahead and pause the video. So that's it for this chapter. So go ahead and watch a resume video and download the example that you could either use or just look at. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.